And welcome back to part 3 of Sonic Mania. This time, we're going to tackle what, as many people, including Kobe's, favourite zone. Although I do think highly of this zone, I think it's definitely the best water level. It's not my favourite zone of all time, not by a long shot. It came from this zone came from Sonic 3, for goodness sake. Sonic 3 had all the best zones. But it's a still nice thing to see come back. I wasn't expecting it, so it was a nice surprise. Even though I do kind of prefer the original version of it than this new one. So the music's still great though. I love the original and I love the remake. Skittle Lopes with his music. I need to stop humming it along because it just takes away from the. What the fuck? Alright. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I know what happened there. I got hit as I went into it, but that's just funny. But the thing they've usually with every remake zone, the new gimmicks that they've added to it exists in Act 2, whilst Act 1's more of a recreation of the original. This is the other way around. Act 2 feels like more of a recreation of what we know from Hydrocity, whilst Act 1 is the extra gimmicky one with levers, pulleys, the bubbles from Game Gear Sonic 2, I think. Oh, what was that enemy just runs into its death? Or how that we can't move that way because the current's too strong, so we have to go and cut off the water by taking the moving blocks here. Pull the lever to drop the water. But it was around this point when I was going through Sonic Mania that I realised there's not going to be that many new zones. Because much as I love the recreations, and I really love the recreations of the old zones, I really wanted there to be a lot of new zones. I'd like to see like a fresh idea, Christian Whitehead, or Head Cannon, or even Pagoda West, even though I think they mostly did art assets for this game. Just to see what brand new zones they could do. And the new zones they've got prove how much I really wanted the new zones, because the new zones we've got are all brilliant. Even the final zone, for how long it is still a brilliant zone. I love it. And it kind of proved to me how much that they do know their shit. And I hope that post this, at some point in the future, we can get a real Sonic 5 or something along those lines where it's completely new zones in this format. And I'm sure Sega have got to be aware that something like this would be a good idea at this point, but how just damn well Sonic Mania is sold and is still selling. And the PC version is not even out yet as of this recording. Like, oh, there's Eggman. Coming up. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Oh. But I like they've got the bubble back though, but seriously, like, the PC version I think comes out tomorrow, I think. If not, it's the 31st. And this is a cool boss, and it's the only like real set piece we've got in this game, which I think is a bit of a shame though, because I really like the set pieces in Sonic 3, is how they moulded in well but still worked their own thing. Like how in Marble Garden, a similar deal happened where you started destroying the level, so you had to work your way through it. But then when you went to Carnival Night, I think it was Carnival Night, the lights would get switched off in Act 2, and so it would restrict you from activating certain things and going to certain places until you could turn the lights back on. Oh, Ice Cap, infamous Ice Cap, with where you start off on a fucking snowboard, and it's amazing. But that's not the only real set piece we get. There's a similar one you can get optionally in Lava Reef, but to get that you have to take the lower route. And this mini boss is pretty funny though. It's Eggman's machine from the original Hydrocity Zone, Act 2. And now you're using it against him whilst he tries to drop bombs. I've never been hit by the bombs, because the thing is, the thing automatically cuts off if you hit Eggman, so you can kind of go full throttle as long as the bomb's not too close to it. Like this I could probably get away with, see? Oh, I might be able to get him again here. Yeah, I've got him. I think one more should do it. I think it's 4 hits. Yep, there we go. But I thought that was cool, it lets us use this machine. I wish they'd like experimented and had a bit more fun with this, but I know they were probably playing it safe to an extent, just to try and make it more of a celebration of the classic than a huge jump to the new. So I think that'll be what they'll do in the future, because as I said, Sega have got to be aware of how well this game sold. And Sega, as much as I do have my respect for them, I also understand they're a business practice, and they're going to go with whatever earns them the most financial success. And in this instance, I think more classic Sonic will end up being on the horizon in a few years. But this is the one thing I don't get. These cylinders, the tops and bottom of them were pink, and now they're like this weird dark grey. I liked them when they were pink because they were easier to see where you had to land on them. Like where you would be landing on them. Like they were just very easy to spot out because they complemented the background nicely. Yeah, fuck it, I'll take the upper path. Whilst in this, because they're just grey, it feels a bit off, or a bit weird. Yeah, but who knows. They said there's a few updates to the game in Underworks, and I'm pretty sure most of it will be bug fixes, because there's a few bugs that the speedrunning community have turned into a blitzball with. And I know the online leaderboards still don't work. But the online leaderboard is an easy fix, I think. I hope. But maybe by the updates they might change a few things. So I'm sure I can't be the only person who wasn't happy about that they were grey instead of pink. But the rest of it's perfectly fine. I love that they've got the fucking slides back, and I think there's a. Oh no, it's the next one. There's another one that works similar like that, where there's a ring on the if you hold left, and I think I'll be able to get it hopefully. This bit's still here though. And the amazing music's still here. But when I was a kid, I remember absolutely hating Hydrocity Zone Act 1, but absolutely loving Act 2. Act 2, and I still love Act 2 today, although this version's not, I don't think, as good, it's still amazing. Just because, look, you're whizzing across water. They made a water level fun in a Sonic game. And I never thought that was possible. I mean, fucking hell, look at Labyrinth Zone from Sonic 1. That's the epitome of not Sonic. Because for a game about keeping momentum, that game you move at a break pace at stupid miles per hour, getting nothing done because of the water physics. Yet they made it fun and entertaining when you're moving at breakneck paces here. There's a ring here. Alright, I'll go this way then. I'm trying to not use Supersonic as much as possible. Right, now we've got a combine ring, so if we get a hit, we can actually get most, if not all, of our rings back quite easily. Oh yeah, I'll take that. 200 rings, yeah. Let's go. Cool. Oh, let's see, if you get a combine rings, we can actually get another extra life by getting hit. Oh dear. Oh, so we still got 162 rings. Whilst normally I think the limit's somewhere around 20 or 30 rings you can get tops if you get hit. But the combined rings, they just put them all into 8 giant rings so you can get loads. Whee! Oh, that never stops being fun. Right, in the original, on that jump, there were 2 more like cylinders and it would take you up to another big ring, but they're not here now. This is a cool boss though. I like how unique this boss is. It reminds me of something you'd see in Sonic Advance, because in Sonic Advance, especially Advance 3, had a lot of unique bosses. Because you're hitting the bombs and then moving out of the way, then moving back in the way of where they're going to go, because Eggman's following you almost 1-to-1, so it'll hit him. And yeah, where it's these spike blocks and different, but there's a lot of points where it's just blocks, like here, and if you end up hanging on them, Eggman will catch up to you quick. And I remember, because I sort of like, when I first saw how this boss was going, I was like, oh fuck, there's no way I'm going to beat it on my first try. But I managed to. It is a hard fight if you don't know what you're doing. Like, see there, when I'm going against him, he's getting closer for it. But you just got to keep your pace, keep in line with the bombs, and just know what you're doing, and you'll find your way through before long, see? And you always get given a bubble every time you get a hit on him. But the fight's not over, because why not have one more reference? The mini-boss from the original Sonic 3 is here as well, and I think they put this one back here purely because of how badly you could break him in the original because of the insta-shield. Whilst now, because you don't have the insta-shield, this and another boss both see a return, but you can still break him the old-fashioned way. Oh, I failed it there. But you can still break him the old-fashioned way. If you like do a spin dash off the side and then jump, you can, if you manage to land sort of in the middle of it, you can just keep on bouncing on him until he dies. He'll never be able to win. Oh, Tails got it. But I managed to do that on my blind run, the perfect jump bounce, but not on this one. Hey! Alright, Sonic, enjoy the thin air. Now, is it a new zone next? Yeah, it is. Right. Right, now Mirage Saloon Act 1 for Sonic and Tails. If it's Knuckles, it's completely different. But if you're Sonic and Tails, you get a reference to Sky Chase, and you like with a completely redone version of it. The only problem with it is that I found Sky Chase really boring. Like there's nothing wrong with it mechanically, I just found it boring. And so coming to this, seeing it, it's also kind of boring. You're just kind of waiting around and hitting the enemies as time goes on. I was tempted to speed it up, but I thought, no, it's part of the game, and there is a part where you're actually doing something on it, so you might as well. The only thing I can recommend, don't spin dash. If you spin dash and you're like nearer to the left of the screen, Tails won't be able to keep up with you and you'll fall off the thing, and it will count as a bottomless pit. Also, if you have all the Chaos Emeralds, don't go Super Sonic, because of how much faster Sonic goes when he's Super, there's a good chance you'll outrun Tails in the tornado again. It's very easy to do. But the music's nice. But then I can say that for the whole game. Oh, and then the tone changes. When on my blind run, I spin dashed into that shield, went straight through it, straight off the tornado, and died getting the shield. Yes, Knuckles has his own level for this, and because only Knuckles can access the level, it's a very Knuckles-only level. It's a level that I don't think Sonic would be able to beat if you could get access to it. Because there's a lot of parts where it's climbing onto a wall and gliding to certain spots, where you just can't do that, so Sonic obviously can't glide. This is quite cool. At the front of the train's Eggman with the stash as well, and Eggman even gets to pull the horn. Right, now one of, if not the easiest big ring to find in the game is right here, because it's a linear path. You have to end up at this spot, so you'll always be able to get that ring. So if you haven't got all the Chaos Emeralds and you're going through it, just when you get to the train bit, go left first. There's also an electric shield in here for you as well if you want it, which is sweet. I need to stop humming to the music, it's too tempting. This will automatically shoot you, so don't worry about it. The ones in Act 2 you aim yourself, but those ones you get to be a bit more automatic with. And here comes the Heavy Magician, which according to the manual is female. I don't think it was necessarily needed to know, but alright. Alright, this mini boss, its hitbox is a little awkward when it's going up and down like that. You'll jump at it a lot of times thinking you've got it and it just won't happen. But if you pay attention to the dust on the left and like in the background like that, if you see it go left or right off screen, it's jumping along like this, which is very easy to get a hit in. Like so. It's only annoying when it does the up and over like this, because you end up hitting the shell when you think you've not got a good jump. Or just catching it when you're in midair like that. I'm not sure why they used that anyway, because there's no real need to use it. The only reason it's there is to be a gag for the start of Act 2, in a sec. Because it lands on the Heavy Magician's head. Right, now, if you're a classic Sonic fan, or you've played Sonic the Fighters, you might recognise that. That's Bean the Dynamite. It's random who it is, but it can be Fang the Sniper, which a lot of people will know him from Triple Trouble as well. The Polar Bear, I always forget his name, or Bean the Dynamite. This is probably one of my favourite tracks in the game. I'm still not entirely sure what's my absolute favourite. Like, there's a few I really like and a few I like more than others, but I'm still not sure. Like, the final boss theme and the Supersonic battle theme are both brilliant, and I love them to death, but I like the final zone theme because how menacing it is. Also, secret path down here, if you push the barrel, it'll take you to another secret ring. And there's actually a trophy in it for you, so... I remember Mirage Saloon looking much harder than it actually is in the trailers building up to it. Like, it might just be my imagination or something, but I just remember there being a hell of a lot more enemies and just people getting hit in all the gameplay trailers and gameplay shorts of people playing in Mirage Saloon, but that might just be me though. It's also nice that they brought that enemy back but didn't make it so it's immortal when it's in its shield. Because when it was like all curled up in the original Sonic 1, it was a hit hurt box. You couldn't jump into it to save yourself. It was only ever going to hurt you. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I wanted to drop dash. But whilst in this, whilst I get my train of thought back, in this, if you jump into it, you just bounce off of it and it goes out of the ball form. Now this is an interesting fight. I wasn't sure what to expect from it when I saw Fang the Sniper in my first run, because that's who I got on my blind, but I think he's just pretending to be them. Like, I don't think it's actually them, I'm pretty sure it's not anyway. And every 2 hits, he goes back into this and swaps to the next one, which is in a rotation. It goes Fang, Bean, the Polar Bear, and then Fang again. I wish I could remember the Polar Bear's name. But I want to say it's Bark, but I can't remember. This guy. But so I'm curious, because they've got the old flickering when you hit as well, but the flickering works perfectly fine at 60 frames, but of course the PS4's recording only records at 30 frames, so I'm curious to see, like, do they just vanish sometimes? So I'll be curious to see it on the playback when I eventually upload this, where if they're visible or not when they get hit. But yeah, we're now 3/4 of the way through the new zones. There's only 4 new zones, and that's the 3rd done. But here's the last proper transition they dare to make of going to a new zone. You get shot off in the background. There's Oil Ocean, which I like. Oil Ocean, I'm glad to see back, because like it was one of those things that I could see its potential in Sonic 2, and I always wanted to do more. I always felt it was kind of forgotten about, but I enjoyed it. I just always felt I could do more, and so I'm glad they brought it back and did more of it, and now it's brilliant. And they also answered the lifelong question of what would happen if you brought fire to an oil ocean, which is great. So I think everyone who played Classic Sonic was curious about that at least once. Which is probably why they went out of their way to make this. You know, I would have probably imagined that's the sole reason they made this zone, just so they could have the fire shield in it and make people go mad. And I've definitely loved the remixes in this. But the original Oil Ocean theme I didn't think that much of, but these 2 remixes are just glorious. Oh, as we lose our God of Hellfire. Yeah, I'll slow down. Oh, for fuck's sake! I slowed down there so I could make the jump. Oh well. I need to learn to pay attention to my ring count more. These are back as well. You jump into them and they launch you off into a bunch of whatever these are, circle cannon things. Boing. I'm curious though, if you're in Super Sonic and you have the fire shield, will the fire effect still kick in? Because I know, like, when you have the electric shield in Super Sonic, you still drain Rington, which is what makes it so overpowered. But the fire shield, I'm not actually sure whether it will actually carry on to a level effect like this. Is there anything up here? Nah, that's fine, let's go down. Whoa, we got a lot more height from that than I expected. Oh, sweet. Sorry, I'm enjoying the game and jigging to the music. I'm playing this live. Right, this mini-boss, a lot of people don't like it because the mini-boss turns to crank and launches them all up. There's a good chance you'll get crushed because you won't know to stand in the middle. But if you jump, at the peak of your jump, you'll be able to see the spikes, so I always thought that wasn't the best argument for it. Like, I can see why it's a bit dickish that they didn't at least show you beforehand, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's that bad. And now we go on to Act 2. Act 2 brought back the one thing I never wanted to see again, and that's anything from Sandopolis. But it did it. It fucking did it, piece of shit. But it's not that bad here. I don't mind it. It's nowhere near as bad as it was in Sandopolis. In Sandopolis Act 2, fuck that level. In Sandopolis Act 2, the level would consistently get darker, and if it got too dark, ghosts would spawn, and eventually the ghosts would attack you. In this, it's a similar idea, where it's becoming more smoggy, but instead of making things spawn, it will start draining your rings if it gets too thick, which I think is a much better version of what they did in Sandopolis. But you deal with it the same way in both. You pull the lever like this, and it just clears them out, or turn the lights on in Sandopolis. And I fucking hated Sandopolis. There's so many things wrong with Sandopolis. It's just not a fun level. I don't think anyone really likes it. It's just shit. And it goes on too long. And it's immediately followed by Lava Reef, which isn't a bad zone by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not great either. I don't know, the Sonic and Knuckles half of Sonic 3 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I was found very hit and miss. Like, every zone in Sonic 3 I love to death for different reasons. In Sonic and Knuckles, it's alright, pretty good, god awful, alright, Hidden Palace, which is like, is non-existent, it's not really worth commenting on, pretty good, and a good final zone. But there's too many with it. I always struggled to enjoy the entirety of Sonic, and I shouldn't have done that, to enjoy the entirety of the Sonic and Knuckles side of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but that's each to their own. I go through normal Sonic 3 more often than I go through the whole of Sonic 3, like Sonic 3 Complete. But then I do know why they remixed more tracks on Sonic and levels from Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3, and it's to do with the whole Michael Jackson copyright shit. Like, I think everyone wanted to see Ice Cap Zone, but it was never gonna happen because Michael Jackson's voice is fucking in it. But then on a personal level, I'd like to have seen Carnival Night, but I think the closest we got was Studiopolis, so I was alright with that. Also, if you know the odd speedrunning strategies of that, you can go in the deep ocean at the bottom of the level, you can go under parts of the level. If you know that, you can find this secret submarine, and there's a trophy in it for you as well if you're looking for it, so... And not many people have this trophy, not many people know the old speedrunning strategy from Sonic 2. But it's a constant competition of what's the rarest trophy for Sonic Mania right now. But I think the one that's the most rare right now is beating Act 2 on Stardust Speedway in under a minute. Which is very easy to do. I did it. You can do it in time trial, so it becomes much easier to do, because if you go ever so slightly over, you just tap triangle and there you go, you start again. But for a while, it was fine. The Secret Submarine was the hardest trophy, which is weird because I would have thought getting all the gold medals would have been the hardest, especially because a lot of people are realising now you don't need to get all gold medals to unlock everything. You can unlock everything with all silvers. The golds are just bragging rights. Which I found kind of disappointing, because some of those bonus stages, and I'll show them off in an extra video, some of them are just bullshit. Like, really bullshit. Like, I probably won't show off the bullshit ones in bonus ones. I'll probably show off like one or two, just to give you the idea of what they're like. Well, if you played Sonic 3, you already know, but just to show them off. But some of them are really fucking out there and bullshit hard. And then you've got a perfect in them as well. It's just, But yeah, there's 4 submarines in the secret run. Not run, in this act, when I finish my sentence. As a truck passes by, hopefully that's not too loud. Oh, another combine ring. Oh no, I think they call it Mega Rings now in Sonic Mania, but in Knuckles Chaotix it was called the combine ring. Alright, now for this boss. Right, this boss tends to get a lot of people. Like, it's a simple in concept, but it tends to get a lot of people because when it's actually out in the open and can be attacked, there's usually just enough going on that you might buck yourself over. Because the 2 balls of death, these, are back from the Lava Reef Act 1's boss. Plus you're trying to hit the octopus itself, and it gets a bit hectic sometimes. And now I'm out of ring, so I'm probably going to die now I've said that. Well, I hope not, because I've managed to beat everything so far in one life. I'm going to be very disappointed if I die now. Oh well. I'm doing this all in one recording, so if I die, I die. If not, never mind. Oh, there I go. Well, that's the first death. Let's see how many more I get throughout this game. I'm quite happy with myself though. I thought I was now I'm on live recording, I'd die a hell of a lot on stupid shit, but I've done all else so far. For that to be my first death, I'm quite content with that, but let's fuck him up now. I'd be glad with just one death. I mean look, we've got 30 fucking lives, it's not like we're burning through all of them soon. That's the thing, if you're at least decent with classic Sonics, you're going to have so many lives that it won't matter if some of the harder shit gets a bit hard for you, you'll be fine. I think I hit him 7 times, just hit him, there we go. There's always 8 hits to beat a boss, a main boss. But that's Loyal Ocean. Next time, we're going to wrap up this game and do the last 3 zones in the game, which are 2 Mez and a pretty good final zone all back to back. But until then, you take care now.